Hello, hello. It's Jessica. I am back with a live. I know it's been a while, but this one will probably be pretty short, I imagine. But I just wanted to talk about something that actually personally happened just this week. And it has everything to do with being a Black woman uh, in this world that does not want to see positive news about Black women. Obviously, not saying everyone, but generally. So it's going to be slightly a story time along with a rant. So this is not my normal content. If you're a new subscriber, if you follow me more so for the jobs content, just know this is more of a rant and story time. So, hello, Kim and Mom She. Hey, how are you? I just saw a comment from you. Welcome in. Nice to see you. Actually, gonna bring up some of the comments up onto the screen here in a minute. Hey, Dunlap, how are you? Hey, okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it and bring up an image actually, because this will kind of start the conversation off. Oh, maybe I can't do that. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can still find this video. It's kind of weird. I can't really share it. The post was removed, I think, because of all of the weird comments that were that were highlighted. But basically, there was a woman that I follow on LinkedIn who shared a very nice highlight about a Black woman in history. And the post has been removed. I follow a lot of her content because she's constantly sharing about positive news in the Black community because you're not going to see, well, in general, news that talks about positivity. That's not really what gets the ratings, right? You're going to see a lot of negative news, especially when it comes to the Black community. Let's just be honest. But this woman in particular, she shares a lot of really nice content. Her name's Elizabeth Leba, and she shares content on LinkedIn. So she happened to share a, basically a statement, and she identified this woman as being a Black woman, as she is, and is pictured, shared a picture of her. Um, and there was a comment that I responded to, and the comment was basically Elizabeth reacting to some woman that was going comment by comment saying she didn't want to talk about race. She did not want to talk about race, even though this woman is clearly a Black woman. So I'm going to bring this image up again. I think it's only going to show up for just a second because I can't show pictures in StreamYard, unfortunately. Unfortunately. But this was the comment. I'm going to read it because I'm sure people can't really see that. So, this person says my hero too, which is great. I thought that was fine. What an awesome woman regardless of color. Let's make this not about color with not about color in all caps, right? And I actually responded to something that Elizabeth Leba said because she said basically she wanted to highlight this was a Black woman during a time where Black people had very limited rights in America and women had very limited rights in America. You put the two together, you get a Black woman, even more limitations and rights, and even to this day. So I basically thank this woman and I say, thank you for your reply. I don't understand why some people get so bothered when we share the accomplishments of a Black woman, but I truly hope it's not coming from a negative place. Meanwhile, when there's negative news, I've yet to see a comment saying, let's not talk about race. I also do not see these type of statements when celebrating other groups of women. And I told her to basically just please continue sharing the stories and accomplishments of Black women and that we appreciated her. Okay, so the story continues. I'm going to kind of look at some comments and pause for a second. Hey, KB, you're sending virtual hugs. I love that. You're doing okay. Cold and rainy. E. Dunlap, you know I'm bad with cities. Remind me where you are again. It's been raining in Dallas. Not really. It like rained for like I don't even know, like 5 minutes, and then it went away. I don't know, but it just feels weird here. Hot and muggy. Like it needs to rain more. But yes, July is hot. Oh, thank you, Kim Mumshi. Hey, Edward, welcome in. Hello, Mike. Hey, hey, hey. Long time. I know it's been a long time since I've come on a live. I will do a full live. When am I going live? Oh, next week. I will be doing a giveaway. So I will be in person and on camera. I follow her because you follow her. Very inspiring post. Thank you, E. Dunlap. Thank you. So I would love to just get your thoughts on this scenario too. So going back into the going back into the scenario. So I make my statement, right? I'm saying, look, thank you for doing what you're doing. I don't understand why people just can't take seeing positive news when the words Black women are in it. Some people, obviously, not everyone, but enough for it to be disturbing. So this person responds back to me. This is a woman, right? I believe her last name looks to be maybe Italian, maybe Brazilian, maybe. I don't know if it's a Latino woman, but it sounds maybe Brazilian or something of that nature. This person says, responds to me out of the blue. I did not respond to this woman. So she aggressively responds to me and says, celebrate all women. I'm sick to death of putting race in where it doesn't belong. And let's not even, I'm gonna respond with what I said and then share something that she commented about where she uses race in a negative light, which literally proves the point I was making. How it's fine not to talk about race when we're talking about positivity and saying, oh, look, Black people are doing great. Black women are doing great. But when you're saying this Black woman is doing something to you, it's okay. Okay, moving along. So I respond to this woman. I won't put her name out there. The post has been removed since. I tell her I do celebrate all women, which I do. And I think it's great that you celebrate women as well. However, as a Black woman myself, and I say the person's name because I want her to get the message, you will not make me feel as if I should not be proud to be a Black woman. And any accomplishments I have, I want to be described as such, a Black woman. Thank you, and I hope you have a lovely week. Because you guys know, I always try to wrap things up in a lovely little package for people. Because, I'm still going to say my positive self normally. So, what happens from there? I stop commenting from there, but I see a comment from her. And I posted this on my Instagram. If you're following my Instagram, you will have seen this whole little reenactment of what happened on LinkedIn of all places. This person is the lady's responding to someone else that is agreeing with her. Let's not make it about race. It's just women. Let's ignore the fact that she's a Black woman making this great accomplishment during a time when Black women had things extremely difficult. She says, in agreement with another lady, absolutely. One Black lady just gave me shh. She cursed, I won't, regarding this post. Very sad. Clueless, I think. Clueless. Who's clueless here? The person that's saying, let's not talk about race in the society that looks at people visually and literally treats them a certain way because of how they look, whether that's you're a woman, whether it's race, whether it's you have a disability, whatever. Fill in the blank, right? So, what I shared on Instagram was that race doesn't matter until you get to define someone by their race. I understand you now. So I get this thinking, and I just needed an outlet to share. And I figured, why not share on YouTube? Because, you are my people, my friends. So I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. I see some comments. I'm going to check out some of the comments. But basically, my issue is, why is it so bothersome to some people and they can't understand how this comes across? It's very aggressive, rude, inconsiderate, and actually clueless, as this person was. I guess, I don't know if she was talking about me or other people, because there were some women, black women, and there was a black man that I saw commented to her and tried to, like, in a full paragraph, tried to get her to understand in a very, considerate manner. Meanwhile, I don't think people really want to understand. I think seeing any positive news that's not highlighting someone that looks like them, in their mind, is anti them. This is just my thought with looking at actions like these. Seeing someone that clearly is this upset to where she's responding to every single comment. Every single comment. Whether they're talking about race or not, she's bringing it up. So if it's let's not talk about race, why are you harping on the fact that this person mentioned this woman is a black woman? And this is a part of why I don't like the whole thinking from some people where they say, "Oh, I don't even see color." How do you not see color? Are you colorblind? Because most people do. Just as you can see I'm a woman, there's a certain physicality that is different from a woman from a man. We can see that. You can see that I'm a different color. Okay, let me look at some comments. I just needed to get this off my chest because it's just very disturbing that these are the folks that are walking around every day, probably thinking that they're not racist or don't have any biases or don't have any tendencies against certain people. Meanwhile, seeing a post highlighting a woman in history who is no longer even with us. I'm sorry, I can't give you the details. I wanted to go back to the post to get some details about what it was specifically that she did. And actually, I think it was that she was the first. I hate to misquote it, but I believe she was the first woman, period. And I think if this woman was just coming from a place of, I wish, she's my hero too, like, yeah, she can be your hero too. But this was a black woman. This was a black woman accomplishment. But she was the first woman to enlist in the military. Okay, so I can see very in a miniature way a part of the post, but when I click on it to see all the details, I can't see it. So I'm going to tell you she was a part of the 38th Regiment Infantry Division and was called a Buffalo Soldier. Her name was Cathay Williams. Let's see if I can find her. Like the woman it's crazy that the original poster had to take the full post down because this woman was so disturbed, so disturbed, um, that she would even say that it was a black woman. And even Wikipedia says when you look up Cathay Williams was an African American soldier who enlisted in the United States Army under the pseudonym William Cathay. She was the first black woman to enlist, so was first black woman. See, clearly you would identify that. You wouldn't just say woman because, and this is Wikipedia, so I, take it with a grain of salt. But generally, they pulled data from all over online. So she was the first Black woman to enlist and the only documented woman to serve in the United States Army posing as a man during the American Indian Wars. So even online, if you search her up, you're going to see she's a Black woman. E. Dunlap said, I wish we could ignore people like that commenter. They know what they're doing. They don't want to be educated. They want to be catered to. I'm so done and I ignore them. See, for me, I think you're right. I responded to her mainly because I saw that she was responding multiple times on that post. It's like, wow, how do you have all this time to do this, first of all? But you're, in my eyes, spewing hate because it bothers you that much to see that someone, a Black woman, is sharing content, which, let's be honest, she is doing this to share positivity for other Black people. Her audience clearly would be Black people, but obviously the broader group, everyone should be educated. This is American history. But I wanted to, share something as well. Oh, you're in a Midwestern city. Oh my goodness. Are you in Missouri? I'm gonna have to start asking folks where they are. I know Edward is in Hawaii. He's always the one I remember, and I always remember King of Kill, which I think is in here. I think I saw him in here. But not everyone I remember. Cupston. Thank you, Brian. Yes, please hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you for all the virtual hugs in here. Hi, Brian. I can't remember where Brian. I don't remember where you're from either. I'm sorry. Cupston, I know Canada. Thank you. Yes, thank you for liking the video. Appreciate you so much. But really, that was it. Let me just take a look at some comments. I really just wanted to vent and just share this experience that happened. I mean, these things happen. There are people like this, but just aggressively writing things like that online. Brian's laughing. The one I do not like is I do not see color. How do you get past the traffic light? Exactly, Cubson. Exactly. Like, that's just lying. Like, stop lying. You see color, and that's okay. That's the issue, is that there is automatically a negative connotation put onto black. Black. Like, it's just a color, right? So there's all of these man-made things that we create and we put a positive or negative connotation on them. Well, in this society, we are trained to think certain things based on looks of everything, based on, how a person is dressed. I mean, it's just everything, everything visually. Unless you are, in fact, legally blind or colorblind, then, don't say stuff like that. It doesn't make sense. But I think where that comes from is people don't really know how to say, how to basically say they're trying their best not to be biased or not to be racist. Although, if you grow up in America, and I think most places in this world, you're going to have some biases. Everyone does. Black, white, Hispanic, whatever color you are, you're going to have some biases because we're literally trained since from when we're born to have biases. And some of our biases are actually protecting us. If there's a lion in the middle of the street, well, I've seen a lion attack someone, so I'm probably not going to go up to the lion and try to pet it, So some of our biases are to protect us, but we just have to acknowledge them and put them in check as well. Hello, welcome, embracing everyday realities. Thank you for stopping into the chat. It's all hot air. Welcome in. Hey. Hubson says, like Charlemagne, oh goodness. Charlemagne said to Tommy Lauren, you will not go to a breast cancer rally. Oh, sorry. Getting a call. Let me put this on do not disturb for just a second. So, like Charlemagne said to Tommy Lauren, another one, you will not go to a breast cancer rally and say, "What about lung cancer?" Let's rally about all. Yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. I mean, it's like with the women's movement. And I made a post on Instagram as well, on my personal Instagram. If you're following Jobs from Jess, I try to keep that strictly jobs. But if you follow me at Miss Jessica Crystal, I I made a comment where I'm saying, if this is the case, if we don't need to, mention race, well, why do we need to mention gender? We can just say human. We can just say, hey, this human person, or we can just say American. But if you were to say American, if I type in American into Google, what am I typically going to find? Let me just look and see what actually comes up. Just like I Googled woman earlier, and black women did not come up the heaviest. There were a few, but no. Let's just put in here American. What images actually come up? First, American Airlines comes up first. Maybe I should just put American person. I get the flag, of course. American person. Okay, so we get a mixture. There's one. Uh, I don't see any black women though. Hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of men. So gender doesn't matter based on this woman's standards. Let's talk about it. Just why talk about race, gender, any of that, or just human? Yeah, like that's gonna work. Ryan is thinking. All right, let me see if I can get through some of these comments in here. I thought I saw. Oh, hey, King of Kills. I thought I saw you. Thank you, Edward, for sharing the video out. I appreciate that. You do that often. I so appreciate you. Hey, Larissa, and hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. It's been a while. Nice to see you. And hello, Primping. And if you're just coming in, I have basically told my story. Basically, someone was online saying, in response to a positive history of a Black woman, her name is Cathay Williams. She was an African American or Black soldier who enlisted in the United States Army. She enlisted as a man. She enlisted under the pseudonym William Cathay, and she was the first Black woman to enlist and the only documented woman to serve in the United States Army posing as a man during the American Indian War. So we had a lovely woman basically say, let's not talk about race, and was going to all of the comments to this post saying, we don't need to talk about race. However, she brought up race herself to state this comment in agreement with someone else who thought equally to her. Absolutely. One black lady just gave me shh, I won't say the word, but use your imagination, regarding this post. Very sad, clueless, I think. And, part of me just wants to say people are just trolling, but there are literally people that think this way. I also want to add on this same post, there were other things brought up that was taking away from the message, bringing up politics, conservative, Democrat, this person probably Democrat. It just got in too deep, distracting away from a positive message about a Black person in American history. Again, proving that I really don't think a lot of people want to see that type of news. They just want to see the regular, degular, this Black person committed a crime. That's what they want to see. Instead, we have women like Elizabeth Leba who will share posts, and she shares things constantly about Black people doing great things. Black men, Black women, Black kids, or Black children doing great things. So I try to follow her on LinkedIn for those inspiring stories, and I will typically share it out. So that is pretty much the video. Let me just take a look to see who else came in into the live. I see E. Dunlap says it's bothersome because they need attention all the time. It's long time to put their on ignore. Is that and that's the issue. It's folks being so used to things being done in a certain way to benefit them only or them mostly. And so now seeing that other people are getting even a little bit of shine, a little bit of something, they're anti, or they're against it. And I think that's a big reason we, of course, had our moment with the political change in this country, having an entertainer in the office of president. I think that really spearheaded some of it, not all of it. But I think that spearheaded that. People seeing other people are doing things. What? No, just us only. Just us. Only us. We only need this. You can't have any. Embracing everyday reality says it's funny how race all of a sudden does not matter, which it does not. However, you cannot do something as a society and expect it to magically go away. So called blacks did not start this label. Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And that's that's the big issue, right? No, it doesn't really matter. A lot of man-made things do not matter. Politics, religion, skin color, eye color, all these different things. Gender. It really does not matter in the full scope of things, right? However, I would say we, but in this country, a lot of that was created by the same group of people that are now saying they don't want to talk about race. Well, yes. Why did you create it then? You created the system. What do you mean you don't want to talk about it? What do you mean? You created it and now you don't want to talk about it. Well, think about people that actually have to deal with it on a day to day. Do you think black people want to have a sit down with their kids, with their children, and talk about race at different ages so that they understand why they have to do things a certain way, talk a certain way to live in this world to and definitely to thrive in this world? Yeah. No. We don't want to talk about that. And the reason why so many people will talk about it is because we continue to have instances where, a certain group of people is just getting the short end of the stick. I'll just say it that way because there's so much you can go, so many things we can talk about. But yeah, this is why. This is why we have to talk about it because you created the system. And in America, for a lot of Black Americans, we were brought here. We didn't want to be here. You brought us here. You didn't want to deal with it. You shouldn't have brought us over here. Obviously, some, a percentage. Wow, that's impressive. Uh-oh, Edward. I don't know what you're talking about it. I missed your comment. Embracing everyday reality says if race does not matter, stop using it in the news, stop using it on applications, and stop trying to silence people when the dialogue comes up for discussion. We are not even black, we're brown. That is very true. It's so interesting that black people, we're called black and we come in so many shades of brown, actually. And white people are not actually, well, no, I don't think most are actually white either. So it's like we have this, and I'm a big person that believes that in the significance of words. So you have these contrasting things, white and black, right? Kind of like light, dark. right? Moon, sun. So completely on different spectrums, right? So even when you think about the meaning of the word, of course we're going to have some friction amongst each other. We're on completely different ends of the spectrum because we're calling ourselves these words that really don't identify who we really are. So yeah, it's completely man-made. Obviously, yes, we have differences, but we're all human, right? And when you go back in history and you look at science, the first people they come back to saying were black people. If it doesn't matter, why are you spending so much money trying to figure out who were the first black people? I mean, or who were the first people on the earth? There's so much work that goes into digging into, these different digging up mummies and trying to figure out what the race was, and it's just like, if it doesn't matter, why are we spending so much money to figure it out? Figure out who prominent people were, who certain people were, and what race they were. Cubston agrees with embracing everyday realities. King of Kill says this happens only when it comes to Black people. If the woman in history was Irish or Asian or German or whatever, the commenter wouldn't even have noticed. It's only because she's Black. Thank you. And that's something that I felt. Obviously, I can't take a sample and put like 15 posts out with different races or women to see if this same woman will comment or see what comments will happen. But yes, I have only seen this happen when it comes to Black women. And I was even thinking about Black men. I was like really wondering if there are other races of men that go, let's not talk about race. I honestly can't say I recall anything. That doesn't mean it hasn't happened, but I'm interested to hearing what the chat thinks. Like, have you even seen it apply to Black men where people are coming out of the woodwork saying, let's not talk about race all of a sudden? Or is it just about Black women? Because I've only seen the backlash of, "Oh, you shouldn't have said, it's any women. It's all women, and this takes away from this and that," and like people just bringing out the waterworks and everything else to distract from the message. And there's a lot of great women in general in our world. There's plenty of news about things. Obviously, not as highlighted because again, to my original point, we don't highlight positive news. We don't highlight positive news as well as the negative news. However, when we finally get some positive news that's actually shared in a LinkedIn, I mean, I think that post had hundreds of people liking and interacting with that post, and who knows what the engagement was from people that just saw the post, right? I'm imagining probably in the thousands. And she had to take it down. So she had to remove that post because it's no longer there. I can't find it. So I'm assuming, with one woman going, and actually there were two women, but one main person that was going through and saying, it's not about that. It's not about the race of the woman. It's just women. Da, 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 let's not talk about it. And these Black women are giving me for talking about this. Oh man, it's just funny that she says race doesn't matter until she says it, until she brings it up. Oh, this Black woman, why can't it just be a woman? Or she said lady, excuse me. This Black lady. Well, why couldn't it have just been a lady? Why do you have to bring race into it? It's like the logic can go right back at the person. It's wild. But yeah, I have not personally seen this type of logic stated against other groups of women. And, I think a big reason why, and hello, Pandy, welcome, thank you. Yes, please do hit that like button. I think a big reason why is because they can get away with it. The women can do it. They can. Like, the women get away with doing that. Thank you, Kim and Monshi. You're still in here. Virtual hugs. Thank you. I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate that so much. Oh, he Dunlap says. Nope, not in the state of Missouri. That is the running joke about Missouri, where I'm from. Yes. So you're not in Missouri. I'm thinking you're in Chicago then. You're either in Chicago or Detroit. That's my guess. Thank you, Edward. Yes, please do hit the like button. Thank you so much. Hello, Zero. Welcome in. Hey, hey. Did you catch the story or should I restate what happened? But I'm going to probably round this out. But at the end of the day, this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're facing as Black women. We're in this place where, yes, we have two identities that are very strong. We're women, which for me, I do see myself as a woman first because, as a child, that is what I knew I was first. You find out your gender and you find out, oh, I'm black. This is what black means. This is what it means to be black in America. So you find out, you're a girl. You get that because you can't sit like this. You play with these toys. You're a girl and you do this way, right? So you learn that. So for me, I self-identify as a woman first, yes. But black is right there because in the society, that's how people will see me. They're going to see either I'm a woman or I'm black first, whatever. But it's very important to me. So, yes, I'm going to want to be described. Let's say I win an award. I would want someone to say it was a black woman because I want that positive image there about me. And I want that to be there for other people that look like me, which would be other black women or black girls. And how they're someone of a different race or gender, even, which I did not see other races of men or any men saying that type of statement. I did not. If anything, I saw a few men that were trying to educate the woman that was spewing this hate. But yeah, I it's it's just disheartening that it's that offensive. It's that offensive to you. Okay, let me look at some comments in here. I see E. Dunlap is saying, imagine reading a post about financing or finances, then saying, I don't want to talk about debt under people's comments. What a crybaby. Exactly, exactly. And here's the thing the world, and I think this is partly an American thing too. The world does not revolve around you. Like, there's other people in this world. And before you comment, and I'm sure everyone, including myself, has made a comment that maybe has offended someone or someone else didn't like. But that's something to think about. You're not even in that group of people and you have something to say about it. That's like me going to, I don't know, a group of Asian women and saying I don't like, I don't know, something that they're doing. Like, that's not, you don't have a place to say that, you know? Have some respect. And I think that's what it comes down to, lack of respect. Some of these women just do not respect black women. And you guys know, I talk about Malcolm X very often. And he has he's been quoted many times when it comes to the state of black women. And you think about the 1960s, and now we're in 2021, heading into 2022 very soon. And we're still in the place where black women are the most disrespected in America. I wouldn't say throughout the world exactly, but definitely in America. And, people do forget that Malcolm X also held black men accountable. Like, hey, you need to, take care of your women and do this and this. So it's kind of interesting that that quote is mentioned often, but they leave out the rest of it. Because I really do feel like Malcolm X had a lot of the blueprint for um, the black community and what they should do. And they didn't like that. Some people didn't like that. Some of us were already here. That's true 0. Yes. That's why I said some. Black and white are political terms, King of Kill says. Hmm. Interesting. 0 says the term black is used for those who are the lowest class, not the color of skin. And white is a status used for those who are the highest class. Hmm. That, you know what? That makes sense because in other countries it's the same way. When you look at the class system in places like India, Singapore, other places, the reason a lot of men and women alike don't want to become darker has more to do with the class and how they'll be seen of other people. Embracing everyday reality says they are not white at all. They are peach looking or pale looking. Right, right. So really, you should be talking when it comes to white people. It's more pale, complexion. Black people have darker complexions and typically brown skin tones. They have less pigmentation and it is fine, but do not hate me because God gave me more pigment. We did not choose our beauty. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I know some white women that feel like they need to tan because they feel like there's something wrong with having pale skin. And I mean, I think every shade of color and skin tone is very beautiful. Edward says there's definitely a fixation on color. Yes, definitely. E. Dunlap says there are black men who echo the same thing this woman does, a whole other can of worms. Yes, and I didn't quite want to get into that. I was kind of segueing into that when I was mentioning Malcolm X and the black men holding up the women, right? Protecting the women. But here's the thing, black women are not protected. Who's going to protect us? Who? It should be the men of our community. Some are trying, but what happens to those men when they're trying? The other men bring them down. Like I something that is like beyond me is certain groups of men calling other men simps for taking care of their girlfriend, wife, and kids. Like it's just being kind, bringing flowers, doing things that other races or men are already doing. It is beyond me. Like and I think it just goes back to our culture. It goes back to our culture. That's where our culture has been. Black women have not been protected, set as a treasure, or any of the things that you would typically kind of say about women in a group or in a society. It just hasn't been that way. There's a lot of reasons for that. Obviously, not all of the reasons are solely due to just men not wanting to do it, but yeah, it's there. That's a big reason why women like this will be like, "Yo, I can say whatever I want." Your own men are saying this and that about you. They don't respect you. What other group of women is like that? Now, yes, there are outliers of all men that will say things about women, normally in general, but to highlight and disrespect your own woman. I shared a video earlier of a really sad thing that happened. Paris Milan shared this video and did an interview with a woman whose father of her kid, or father of her child, her daughter, was shooting her with firecrackers like repeatedly. And her hair caught on fire and she has burns all over her body. And they showed some of the comments of this video because this man actually posted the video on like World Star somewhere. And the comments were just, like, disheartening because you have people laughing at her, telling him to do it again. This I mean and I imagine these are hopefully younger people, but, I shouldn't even say hopefully because that's really sad for the future. These young boys and probably women, I didn't really see a lot of, the women commenting in that way of like, "Yeah, do it again." But That's really sad. That talks a lot about our community. Now, again, online, people put silly things online. There's a lot of things people will say online that they won't say in person to someone, but those comments were pretty overwhelming. And yeah, so I'll leave it at that. Zero says if you look up the original meaning of black, meant pale or bleached. It was a German word in the 1600s. That's interesting. And Zero, I love hearing about the origin of words. That's very interesting. Clobson says flipping the logic sends the message home, right? Yes, exactly. But I don't think this woman would have gotten it either way. I just truly think there are some people that no matter what you tell them, they will see things in their own way. Hi, Mylene. Welcome into the chat. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Yes, do hit that thumbs up button if you are enjoying the conversation and enjoying me pouring my heart out here and kind of ranting. I haven't had a good rant in a really long time actually. People who are considered white are made up of different ethnic groups like Indians from India, Arabs, or is it pronounced Arab? And North Africans, Moors, just to name a few. Just look up the fourth edition of Laws Black's Law Dictionary. Oh, okay. So everyone note that comment. Hey, Swarthy, how are you? I'm kind of wrapping up my conversation here, but it, just Black women, we have to continue. We have to continue, and Black men and white men and whoever else is in the chat, everyone in the chat. We need to keep sharing this type of positivity. Now, I will say I try to share positive stories in general. I like positive stories, but definitely of the Black community because you just don't hear enough positivity about our community, right? And what we're doing and what people are doing. And we need to see that more. And that includes Black women. And it's very sad to see women going out of their way to take away from that and say, no, all women. I can clearly see this as a Black woman, but let's just ignore that and just say all women. She's my hero too. And that's the other thing is that she made the statement like my hero too. And it's not like it's not like, oh, it's a Black woman. I can't get anything away from that. I have mentors of different backgrounds. I have mentors of a different gender than me. I have mentors that are men, mentors that are Black women, white women. It I have people from history that I absolutely adore, right? Of different races. It doesn't matter. It's not saying like, oh, this is a Black woman. You can't be proud of it because you're not a Black woman. That's not what the original poster Elizabeth said it all. That wasn't what I saw in any of the comments, especially what I stated was definitely not that way. So there are just people that just don't want to see that type of positivity towards a certain group of people. E. Dunlap says, I can't afford to rely on them to protect me the same way I cannot rely upon anyone else. That's true. That's very true. Yeah. Well, and I would say it's more from a social standpoint, with obviously physical protection. I don't know if you can really rely on too many people, no matter what group of women you're in. But generally, things are done in the spotlight as far as someone saying something against a certain group of women. Out of all the groups of women, I would say, yeah, Black women are the easy target because who is going to stand up for us? And there are some Black men that will stand up for us. But that gets canceled out because there are Black men that will talk about those men and say they're wrong and it's just Again, it goes back to my conversation about the whole poverty scenario. It comes down to the men because clearly it's not black women. We're not respected in our community. Clearly, we're not. When a black man can literally shoot up fireworks at a black woman who is the mother of his child, I don't care what she could have done. I don't know there was a video showing her doing anything to him, but like just for fun, just for giggles, that is not okay. And then to see just general comments from black people who represent the black community basically saying this is okay, it's funny, haha, whatever. Who cares about her life? That's not okay. Taking this a little bit on a tangent, but still kind of applies because it applies to black women. Hi, Victoriously Shay. Welcome in. It's been a while. How are you? E. Dunlap is saying unpopular opinion. While we are considered as a community, we really aren't, as evidenced with the woman who had firecrackers thrown at her. She needs to disown the community. Oh my goodness. And I've said this in a few videos. I do not feel the safest in the black community in any place in the United States necessarily. Now, I would say that the only exception would probably be New York, and I would say specifically Harlem. But I think I was in a nice tourist area in Harlem. Because after I left New York, I kept hearing story after story after story after story of actually black men attacking black women. It's just like, oh, come on. That was one place where I actually felt, I would say, really good about being in a black community. I wouldn't say it's still a black community. It's changing for sure. Day by day, it was changing. I don't know if it's still the case. I haven't been back there in a little bit. But yeah, just thinking generally in a black community, am I going to feel the safest? No. No. One reason for that is because of the poverty rates. You're not going to feel safe in any area with high poverty, especially as a woman. And then the other part of that is yes, who is going to protect me? Now, in my own family, yes, I have my dad, my brother. I have people that I can go to. My family. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's tough, but like looking at the community, broader community, like going to a protest, for example, and not thinking I'm going to get injured or hurt or harmed in any way. No way. I'm not. That's why I have not gone to protests. A couple of reasons for that, but one of the biggest is just due to my safety. No, I don't. I'm not doing that for what? So I can end up getting. It for me. It's just a no for me. But I think I think it's good for people to do it. But for me, no. I get your point. I 100% get your point, E. Dunlap. Generally, as a community, sometimes it really doesn't feel like we're a community because there's just so much division. And I think there's different classes and different races of people, right? We see that. But in our community, it's just it's like, where do you even start? It's not just a class thing, it's so many different things going on. King of Kill says we need to stop explaining and start shutting these ignorant people down. There's no saving them. Yeah, and I agree. Like some people just don't want to learn. Now, there are certain people that will say like they just don't understand. Like they've been in their bubble and they are genuinely trying to learn. So there are some people that want to learn, but those are not gonna generally be the folks that are gonna come at you back to back to back to back. They may make one silly comment or say one silly thing, get educated on it, and then realize, "Oh, okay, I'm getting it," or they'll ask questions and then get it. I don't wanna go so far as to say, like, yeah, everyone's ignorant, they're gonna stay ignorant, none of them wanna know. Like, no, I think there are some that do want to learn, and generally don't know what is offensive, or they don't realize how offensive it rings. King of Kill says New York is the greatest city in the world. New York, I do like New York. I think it's a great city. I think that the leadership there, I just don't know long term what's going to happen with New York. I just think that some of the decisions made within the past year or so aren't necessarily the best. And I keep hearing from certain people that New York is like getting more and more dangerous and things like that. And so, yeah, I think when you tell people they can't do anything, I mean, crime is going to go up. If poverty is going up, crime is going to go up. Uh, I mean, yeah. So there's certain things, but I would love to see New York thrive more. I definitely do. I am looking forward to going back there at some point. Victoriously Shay says, sorry for the late reply. They are still popping fireworks here in Nashville. What? Oh my gosh. You know what? Nashville, great city. I I really like Nashville. It's a fun, very fun city, very fun town. They're still popping fireworks. See, I enjoy fireworks from a distance. I would not be the woman that was getting hit with the fireworks. I I just have never been one to be like, yeah, I like being around fireworks. Even when I was a kid, my dad would get like the little sparklers and things, and the things where you throw on the ground, it would make popping sounds or whatever. Yeah, I just never was really into it. My cousins were, but for me, no. So anyway, I think I hit the last comments. I appreciate everyone joining and having a little chit chat with me, bearing through the rant. But at the end of the day, my takeaway is just Black women are clearly not protected. Other groups feel the need to downplay the accomplishments that we have and say, don't mention Black, just mention that it's a woman. Again, I say that logic can apply to gender. Well, don't say it's a woman, say it's a human, if we're getting to that level, right? But yes, it is important to highlight and have that sense of pride in the fact that you are a woman and you're also Black, because it's kind of like just having two cards stacked up against you in a way. But at the same time, there's a lot of power in that. There's definitely advantages that Black people have, blessings that we've been given, and the same with women. There's blessings that we've been given, and there's a certain power that we have. So all of that to say, be prideful. Please don't let anyone discourage you from being who you are and saying who you are and how you identify as, whatever that may be. It may not even be Black or woman. It could be, again, like I go back to disabilities. That's something that I really want to highlight more and more, because that's another group of people in the world that are sometimes forgotten and do have a lot of disadvantages stacked up against them as well. So it could even be someone having a disability or whatever it is. Don't let anyone take away from that. You stand in that, you be proud of that. And if you're sharing information about a certain group and someone's making discouraging comments, I think the solution is just to block them. Don't take down the post. Don't stop sharing. Continue sharing the positivity because we need it. With that, I'm going to take a look at these last couple of comments and I'm going to close it out because that is the video. Victoriously Shades going back to Arizona. Oh my goodness. I need to visit Arizona. I really do. I hear it's beautiful out there. And so you're in Nashville and you're going back to Arizona. Nice. Crime is going up because people have no money. Police departments have too much money. This is not advantageous to citizens. So I think I have an unpopular opinion about that. Um, I think it depends on what location. I think in New York they have a lot of different issues going on. If I don't think I would be if I were an officer, if I happened to marry an officer, I would definitely not want to be in New York. I just don't think I just don't think I'll keep that to myself. But I'm definitely not on the bandwagon. I think as many Black Americans are with the whole defunding things. No, we need police officers. I think where a lot of people might miss what needs to be done is just more restructuring, starting from the beginning, like really taking time to build out a real plan. I think the whole defund is kind of lazy. It's like, oh, well, then what are you going to do? Then what? How are we going to be protected? And a lot of officers there are different things that they're doing, right? Um, it's not just the obvious that's, checking tickets and fighting crime. It's other things too. Obviously, there's everyone's not good in that profession, right? But it takes away from others that are in that profession as well. So I not to get political, but I don't fully agree. But yes, some people don't have money, but some people have money. E Dunlap, I will say, I did a vlog when I went to Houston. There was a long line outside the Gucci store, and I was just at the mall today. I was looking for some sports attire or athletic attire, and some people have money. But yes, yes, when poverty goes up, yes, crime will go up. So definitely 100% agree. Thank you, King of Kill. Yes, protect Black women at all costs. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. It's a beautiful say. I just like the peace and quiet. Oh my gosh, I don't blame you. Okay, with that, that is the video. I appreciate each of you. Again, please keep and continue to share content and positivity about people, of course, in general, but especially Black people, Black women, women in general, all these different disadvantaged groups. So, with that, I'm closing this out. Thank you guys so much. I will see you in the next video. Have a lovely evening. Bye.